The COVID-19 pandemic aggravated the existing inequalities between the countries of the global north and those of the global south, between those that had the resources to face the pandemic and those that had to go into debt, between those that hoarded vaccines and those that awaited them with despair. And likewise, it aggravated inequalities between the most vulnerable sectors of the working class and those who concentrate the wealth of the nations. As an Argentine, I can say that I have grown up in a country that is struggling to get out of the debt trap, the trap of the underdevelopment, of the external restriction on growth aggravated by the shortage of foreign currency, in particular of the dependence on the US dollar and the power that it imposes on us. I come from a country whose people have a history of struggle in seeking for independence, sovereignty, and national development. When I was a student, I argued with my professors who endlessly repeated the dogmas of the Washington Consensus as the only policy guidelines to be applied, hiding behind the fact that socialism doesn't work and that Marxism can only exist in theory, alluding to the end of the ideas proclaimed after the end of the Cold War. In this sense, the 20th National Congress of the CPC represents an inspiration for me. As an economist living in China, I'm a witness of the enormous transformations that have taken place in China, to the process of economic development, the socialist modernization, and how this has improved people's life and quality. The poverty alleviation, the fight against COVID, and of course, the international aid. Socialism with Chinese characteristics based on Marxism has demonstrated its superiority over Western capitalism. Just to cite a few examples, having 80% of the world population, and thanks to the zero COVID policy, China had less than 0.2% of world COVID cases, lifted 850 million people out of the poverty, and went from being a semi-feudal and semi-colonial economy to be the world's second largest economy, engine of the world growth and another point for international trade and investment. While the US capitalism, which proclaims itself superior, continues to lose economic power, it had 50% of the world COVID cases, which means that 1 out of 3 people in the United States was infected with COVID. And they have now some 38 million people living in poverty, which is 11.6% of its population. How can the West object to Chinese socialism? It has proven its superiority. So, unlike the Western powers that stockpile vaccines for themselves, China has donated more than 325 million doses of COVID vaccines to the world, of which 152 million went to the African countries and 14 million to Latin America. And this is not only an act of deep humanity, but also promotes that here, in this world, we save each other, or only a few will make it for themselves. In the same spirit, China is not causing a debt trap to other countries. In contrast, China helps other countries to build industry foundations so that they can eventually have independent modernization, which for countries like mine, this is crucial. Argentina has joined the Belt and Road, for example, this year with agreement worth $23 billion. This is the same principle that is found in the Global Development Initiative promoted by President Xi Jinping, under the idea that no country should be left behind. That is why I look very favorably at the development of China, which is focused on the well-being of the people, care for the environment, and promotes the hope for a shared future for humanity. China is not only not an enemy of the peoples of the Global South, but represents a beacon for the present and future of socialism in the world. Thank you.